Okay, welcome to the Forbidden History Chronicles, guys. You're here with NinjaCat 111 and Dezert-Owl from Forbidden History Live and the Forbidden History Series YouTube channel. I just want to say g'day to Raymond and Lynn and Forbidden History Live in the chat. G'day, and everybody else that's watching. I see that we have a decent number already, so that's really cool. And we'll get into it. Welcome. Okay, the signs of the times. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of time. And also, sorry to interrupt, can I get a sound check, please? Because I can't really... Yeah, it wasn't, didn't seem very loud. Anyway, we'll start from the beginning. The signs of the times. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of time. Who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world. About who the giants really were, the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the Earth-based misnomered UFOs which are man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind and all instituted through the three main religions of the world in particular, used as their grand cover. Their cybercode has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical phoenix. Desert discusses the ultimate in mind control and ancient art, and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations, and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess, who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV, and print media, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end, they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing, and what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the Old World Order from the beginning of time. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it, but they are cleverly leaving us in the dark. Hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed, and above ground, so that when it comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemtrails to fluoride in the water to tainted vaccines to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all by the clever means of deception, because we most all are their cattle, chattel, property, and because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate, but they are all through with us now. It is written in stone as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. And that was written by Dezert-Owl. Thank you for the sound check, guys. And I'd like to welcome Desert to the program, and we will get a sound check as well.
Yeah, well, we got our backup engineer there, and so she'll let us know if we're not coming through. And hey, Ninja, how's it going?
G'day. We're
Okay.
here, and yay.
All right. Good. Well, I want to
Yeah.
mention real quick that thank you, Lynn, for the audio check. And we have part 4. You just posted today part 4 of the Watchers on the Cosmic Essence. So I hope people will go there, subscribe, and check it out because we are revealing the nature of things like nobody else is. All information is controlled, and therefore, whatever is mainstream, quasi-mainstream, whatever that means, is part deflective, part truth, part lies. It's a type of a story, but it's not the whole story or the real story. So these things come through truly by the great gifts of the Heavenly Father, because and heavenly is a bad word actually, but we have to use these corrupted terms because this is how people speak in our modern time, even though it's really pig Latin. So, but we're the only ones telling the correct narrative of who the Watchers are, because they got everybody thinking Watchers are the Vekaresh, or the invisible creatures with wings on their back that went down and had sex with men. Well, that is a false story. Okay, we've got the real one. The flood. I'm the only one apparently on the planet that's identified the flood correctly. It's a fact. It's not a brag. It's just stating that that you have to hear things you have not heard before, because the popular convention is totally not even logical. Like this thing about there was a canopy around the earth that was all water, and then it just came crashing down. Okay, if there was a canopy of water up a long time ago up in the sky, well, then the sunlight wouldn't have been able to come in, number one. Number two, where did all the water go, from that point? So, but when you see the flood story, according to how I've presented it, and it's just a 8-minute clip, it's not, I have elaborated on it on other programming, and therefore we've got to gather it now, or I got to do another presentation. But I show it through the mythology, through the geology, through the names and places and things. All of that combined, you can know the flood. You can look at the map, see it's the greatest flood that ever hit the planet, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so yeah, check out the Cosmic Essence, because Ninja's doing a great work, and I'm so grateful for her. She cuts and splices and dices the long interviews we do and puts them just on the topics that we're dealing with. Okay, and so Ninja, on the last one, Watchers 4, I mentioned we did a primer at the beginning of that particular audio series, that 101 primer. Okay, we did a 101 on original thought primer, and so 101, that'd be perfect to grab. If I did that, then we need a primer on the Cosmic Essence, so please consider grabbing that as the next thing we do after the Watchers. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they need a primer on original thought. We need to keep doing primers, because this is the hardest thing for people to wrap their minds around. And Heapalum Road. Okay, welcome to our broadcast. I think this is the first time we've seen you here, and hope I got it right. My glasses are failing me today, but all right. So where do you want to go, Ninja? You had some where you wanted to steer us before we get into the main presentation, or what?
I do have a couple of things.
Okay.
I'm just looking for a graphic to explain
Mm-hmm.
a little bit better.
Is a check in the mail?
No,
You want answers?
your
All
gift
right.
is the
Okay.
graphic, Desert.
Hey, thank you for Heapalum. I'm gonna have to get used to that. Heapalum Road. And okay, very good. Are you? While Ninja's working out, Are you in the U.S.? Where are you located? What state are you in? Just curious. We don't need your street address. Just curious where you're coming from. We got people all around the world listening in. We're doing a broadcast out of Australia right now, the land of Oz. Uzi. They make the Uzis down there? Is that where they come from?
Sorry, I missed that. I was busy giggling.
The Uzis. You know the Uzis? Do you make the
Uzis.
Uzi down there?
No,
I
no.
think they destroyed all the guns, didn't they? Huh?
Yeah,
They destroyed. I know. I was talking to Ian Murphy back last century when they were grabbing up all the guns,
yeah,
and the farmers couldn't even have guns. Amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
They did Port Arthur to do that. Yeah,
Yeah,
to
and
start that.
Hippolyte Rowe, thank you for posting the Lost Scriptures and the Bible translations there as well. We've not put much up on that channel right now, but thank you for sharing. Okay. and being a part of our broadcast. Go back to you, Ninja. Go ahead.
Okay, and I
By
just
the way,
want
he's
to.
got a rather interesting. I just want to say, got a rather interesting YouTube channel. Okay, so worth checking out and subscribe. I already subscribed. I think that's why he jumped in. I had already noticed the work he was doing. So, Ninja, back to you.
Okay, yeah, I just want to say g'day as well. When I was doing the graphics for watches, the watches, I noticed you on the chat when I was doing the chat graphics. Yeah, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce Heapalum. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, g'day. It's good to see you here. Okay, now desert. You can see on the screen. Um,
Okay, time's up. I get it back now, Ninja. I'm sorry. You done? Oh, okay. Just no, I couldn't risk doing that.
I
She
know.
the Ninja's going through a tough time down there, and so my job is to make her laugh, okay, and make her happy, and because she's under extreme persecution politically, and also extreme oppression, having to deal with a situation that's beyond her control, and so we cut up because it breaks the ice a little bit. Okay, so Ninja, go ahead, back to you. I've
Thank you,
said that
desert.
about 5 times now, haven't I? Keep
Yes,
interrupting.
I'm keeping
I'm
count.
sorry.
Um,
All right,
I'm sorry.
all right. We'll get serious here.
We will. Um, okay, yeah. You see the graphic. You see the graphic.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Beautiful colors.
Thank you.
What they call the Northern Lights.
Yeah. Um, okay. I intended to put the quote up um, for the live stream. I was looking for that quote in particular because uh, of my situation and your situation and just about everybody because of our situation, the way the world is today. Um, yeah, so I wanted to find the quote and I found it. And while I was doing this, um, I looked more at the word peace and more at the word chaos and thought there has to be a switch involved there somewhere, desert, um, being the land
Did
of
you say pace or
opposites.
peace? Pace,
Sorry?
pace, or peace?
I said peace and then I looked in your dictionary and saw, uh,
Okay.
yeah,
You can see the word ace is right there.
yeah,
So it Pete's if we go back to original form, literally the word that I see the two words pe is really the fey. So it's the fey ace, meaning the highest as we know the ace means the highest, right? So
yeah,
it's all fitting, right?
yeah.
It means the highest light of the woman. That would be a way to express it in original thought. Peace means the highest light of the woman. I'm going to write that down, in fact, okay, on a
Okay,
card.
and it brings up
Hmm?
more questions with the lettering, does it?
Okay.
So let me know when I can continue.
Go ahead.
Okay. Um, okay, so I saw that in your dictionary, and so I wrote it down. And I have a question. Shouldn't in ace, isn't that word corrupt as well? Because shouldn't the C be a K, and isn't the E just wrong in that?
Well, yeah, well, right. The only perfect letter is the A, and that's the tip off, and that's the good news,
Yeah,
because as we know, ace means the highest point. Ace, what's in the deck of cards,
yeah,
right? The ace
yeah.
number one is the most powerful card of them all. The one, right? And so so the rest of the word's corrupted, so it's not an original thought. And the closest we could get to that, let's see here, ACE, would be ASHAY, a shay.
Well, that's
Ace
so
may have been
cool.
a shay. There's
Yeah,
Aisha, right? There's the Y
yeah,
and the I,
yeah.
the royal
And you've got,
I,
sorry.
the royal eye of the royal eye, or the royal eye of light. That's probably what it means, the royal eye of light.
Yeah, I took another
Mm.
note as well from your dictionary. You had shalom in there in that paragraph. talking about peace. And so I wrote down shalom, and you just confirmed
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but
And
shalom incomplete because as we
yeah,
discovered
it's
the
shalom.
SHA
Yeah,
as in shalom, actually is missing the A. Naturally,
yeah,
the first letter of the alphabet would be attached to these words, many of them, especially the word SHA, Sha, because it means royal eye. And so, what are we saying when we're saying a shalom? But the royal eye of sound, the royal eye of peace. Om is sound, a shalom. The L is in there, so the royal eye of peace throughout all time, is a way of that's the expression of a shalom, and but we've proved out that they've cut off the front of the words,
yeah.
they abbreviate the words, and the letter A has been crushed and put under the foot by the letter I in particular. The I is the blind. It's not doesn't just mean the blind eye, but literally it is the blind, and this is the game that's been played. So we are dealing with a chavors, which is the original for words. There's the royal eye again, because you need to have a royal eye in order to see the things we're talking about, at least beginning to have a royal eye, and have an open mind, because a closed mind cannot receive anything, you know. Right.
Wow, thank you. Um,
You bet.
and continuing, um, actually, before I move on to the next word, oh no, actually, I'll leave that to last. Sorry, just thinking out loud. Continuing to the opposite of peace, chaos. Um, I looked
Okay.
in your dictionary again, and correct me if I'm wrong. Is the CH actually GH? Because that's what I got from.
Well, most typically the C is replaced with a K, and the K always has an H after it. They go together, and so yeah. And this is again how they confuse us with controlling, put us under the spell, because we can't spell, because we're in the quagmire of the grand illusion, of controlling our thinking by controlling the words. So you want me to look at chaos? Is that what you want?
Yeah, can we possibly decode the word chaos? Because I tried it
Yeah.
looking at it
Okay. How do you
backwards or
how do
making
you
anagrams, and I couldn't
yeah.
see
how
anything. Yeah.
how do you spell it? Are you spelling it? How are you spelling it?
Well, shouldn't
K.
chaos be? I've got it written down CHAOS, and I looked and in your dictionary, and that's where I got came
Hmm.
across the GH, the CH being
Uh-huh.
the GH, but
Well, no,
chaos
the
should be a
G, it would
K.
stay, yeah,
Should
it would
be,
be a K.
yeah,
Yeah, and it would be so it'd be KHAYOSH, by basic form. In other words, we got to stick with S always has an H, K always has an H. Clearly, the AY, the K sound is lacking the Y vowel as well. They go together.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so Osh,
Wow.
there we see, what do we see in the word Osh? We see the word
In Osh.
o- ocean. Okay, right? Because chaos is in the
Well,
ocean, right? When you're in the waves, up and
yes.
down. Can somebody please turn off the motor?
Yeah.
Right? The motion keeps on going, right? There's your chaos. You see, that's when you're having a storm, right? The storm, and there's your ocean. The chaos, the ocean, motion. And maybe we see that as in the word ocean, we see MOTION. There's the real word. It's not an ocean. It's the motion. You see, it's the place where you go where you can't be still. It's the continuous motion. And so this is revealing a truth. There's no question that this is a truth. How we pull all these things together. This is why putting a dictionary together is important,
Yeah.
because you start making connections.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
I want to
Um.
say hey there to Aaron Cox also. I think he may have been here before. Sounds familiar, but
Yeah.
okay.
I recognize the channel name. G'day Aaron and g'day Yojani. How's it going? Hope you're all safe and well. Um. I have one more. For now, if
Okay.
that's okay. Um.
Yes.
Sorry.
The check's in the mail? Okay, go for it.
Um, okay. I'm loving this already. Love it.
All
Um,
right.
okay, the word divide. I don't know if you have covered this before, but it caught my eye. The word
Yeah.
divide um, looks very similar to like to me. It looks very similar to David. Um,
David. Uh-huh. What
yeah,
word? What word? I'm sorry. Divide?
divide,
All right, yeah,
divide.
okay, let's do that. But keep that picture up, okay? We're going to go next to States of America and the code in the GH. So, because you got
Okay.
it there. Thank you. You got some new graphics today, Ninja. Very nice. You've been doing some work. And that's with all you're going through. It's amazing how you do it. So, I want to thank you and let everybody know you deserve support. If they ever want to send you an outright love gift donation, you can get them a copy of the works we do. She'll tell you later on what you can acquire by PDF. We can't do hard copy right now because we don't have funding, but we give half of every donation that you send to Ninja. We give her half to help her so she can relocate and get to a safe place. Okay, so thank you for that consideration. And so divide and David, right? You see, because the word David, let me just type it in here. So we go from divide, Divide. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's the same root.
Yeah.
The prime root, of
Yes.
course, is the DD.
Yes.
There's your prime root. Well, actually, it would be actually we could add the V. So there's your DVD. You see,
Yep.
DVD. And but for David would be correctly Tavat.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
it's not anything we could imagine. You see, but they did the switch out. There's a battle between the D and the T. Okay, I messed up here. Hang on, and the T. Okay, there it is. Okay, and so notice how they sound the same. DT, right? And so actually, there's your word detox for DTs, but that's what we're doing here as a detox. Okay, we got to get the funk out of
Yep.
your soul, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what we're attempting to do. So David, is where we see India, the D is the death letter. There's
Yeah.
the AVG of light, AV. Well, let's put ABC, but it correctly is um, AVG. And then what do we get after that? We get the D letter, the D for death, destruction, doom. So AV is the symbol of a star. AV equals star. And then G also is this is the gold, GOLD. So it's the color and the nature of the light. Okay, and so there's your AVG. So the first letters of AVG all represent the light. Then what happens next? What happens next? We get
Darkness.
DARKNESS, death, dearth for starvation, doom, and we can just go on and on.
Yep.
The doomsday, destruction, um, denial, deviate. I've made lists of those before. So we're showing now that these letters, which are correctly called symbols, are hieroglyphics, and they have a definite meaning
Wow,
within
Desert.
nature. What?
Sorry, I just saw more right in front of me. Continuing with your list, just a couple. Depression and
Yeah,
dementia. Yep.
depression, dementia,
Yep.
um, uh-huh,
Yeah. Yeah. On and
do
on.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The list will continue to grow, and you can
Yeah.
get a dictionary that would help you, obviously. But so then in that, so therefore we prove out that David, there's a switch out in the letters, just like Yeshua is the ATOM, and then we see that Adam is the ADOM, which then was corrupted into ADA, M, but we know it's wrong because obviously we're talking about word form. And he's the one who engineered the sounds. And sound is OM, right? And so that clearly, atom, just like the atom makes a sound when it explodes, it's about, and so the AT is the alphabet. So it's right out the gate. The very
Wow.
first creation is the sound of creation. It's the alphabet that of communication that is presented in the AT, and then the D goes into Adam. Why? Because death rained on him. Right? He fell. He fell from the light, from the Garden of the Atoms, which is falsely called Eden, came down to the lower garden after he had named all things. You see? After he named all things. So clearly he would still have the Om sound because you remember it said that the great Elohim wanted to see what he would call all things, what he would
Yes.
name all things. And so
Yes.
sound has to come. So Adam, implies the place of judgment. So it's about making distinctions on what we call things. Let's see, we got a question from Aaron. Have you talked about the claim that there is no J letter in the Hebrew? And I'll take that as the first part. And yeah, we talk about the letter J. It really only came into our alphabet about 200 years ago. It's been used as a symbol for about 500 years, but officially adopted into our English, about 200 years ago. This is why in the original King James version, Jesus would have been Isus, I with the letter I, and then all that switches out. See, they're engineering. It's evidence of engineering, and it's not in the Hebrew. But I give no credit to Hebrew other than it's worth looking at as a science. But we have to recognize that it's controlled by priesthood, and those letters are demotic. Those are not the original capital letters that we're talking about here, because the capital letters in what you see above in A, B, C, A, V, G, D are the prime symbols that unlock everything for us. Those are the ones. Hebrew's a loser, and so is the new Greek that they gave us. The new Greek is the funny squiggly letters, because the original Greek are the A capital letters we call Phoenician alphabet, and legal diction today here in the U.S. Okay, so part two of your question, hence why some people think Jesus never exists. Well, certainly, people who don't study anything will buy into anything. I comprehend the Yeshua, but Jesus being a Roman psyop, son of Caesar. Well, yeah, even the word Yeshua comes out of the Babylonian Talmud, Aaron. Okay, and it means may his name be blotted out forever. Jesus is Jesus and literally means you pig snout. Okay, that is Indo-Germanic. Jesus, because I always associated it with Zeus, the healing Zeus, but I said, once I got my dictionaries this past year on the Indo-Germanic, I've been collecting, more dictionaries of late, especially on the Indo-Germanic, and Sus, S-U-S, okay? And they know this, okay? It's not like, they don't know what they've done to us. You just mentioned they're engineering. Well, yeah, they're engineering for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, S-N-O-U-T, pig snout. There it is, okay? And J-E, then becomes Y-E is correctly, I'm typing away here, Y-O-U, okay, Y-O-U. So you, pig snout, okay, Jesus, okay? So this is why reading the code, in other words, because what did it say? That the whole world has been deceived, right? And that what did he say in Revelations? I will give you a new name that nobody names, that nobody can name, that nobody will name. Okay, I will give you a new name. Why? Because he knew that they would corrupt his royal title. Even the word name means in the mud, like the Talmud, So this is the great mystery, and so like some people might have a bad day, just because they found out that they're Jesus, means you pig snout, or think, how dare you, Desert, reveal the truth to us, don't you? I don't want to know the truth. Just give me the fiction, please. I like simple, but I'm sorry. We have to, and what's beautiful is we can know the original words and go back to them. And when you do, they're fluid. They're telling a story,
They're beautiful.
like,
Yeah.
Joshua, Jahuah. Well, do you spell it? Josh? Oh, geez. I never was good at spelling either. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? Joshau.
That's
Oh,
because the
there it is.
words that they taught us to spell don't make
Yeah.
sense,
Well,
does it?
they scrambled our brains.
Yes.
Joshua, J A um, Shuah. Also that way. Um, but correctly, okay, we're just moving forward here. Correctly, Yahshuah, which most correctly in the most primitive, and we don't say it, but we do reveal it every now and then. Yahllshoollenvat. Yalshulenva. Yalshulenva is the most primitive of Joshua. At one point I realized that Jesus was represented in the Old Covenant as Joshua, but as you pointed out there was no J. There's no J, and I realized it was Yahshua. But then from Yahshua it went back into the more complete root forms. The Yal means I left out the oh, I spelled it y'all wrong. Okay, let me do this again. I'm sorry. Let me copy that. Can I copy it? Yeah, okay, I can copy it. Okay, control copy and get it back in there. And then it's YAH. I blew it. H.
Yeah,
I'm not looking
I
while
don't know
I'm
if I've
typing.
still got the
Yeah.
graphic for it. I'm just going to try. So
Okay,
if the wrong one comes
y'all.
up,
Yeah,
I'll fix it.
y'all
Uh,
Shulenva. Okay, and
no,
A
that's not
actually
it.
En. Actually, I was wrong on that. Is correctly AN. Okay, because I didn't. Where did the typing go? I didn't even get it in the box. Come on. En is correctly An, which means one. Okay, and so literally Yal Shulen Va. Now we can get to the meaning of the name that nobody can name, because now it has meaning. Yal means that which goes round, and what goes round more than anything. Don't forget we need that other graphic, so don't lose track of that, Ninja. But
Yeah.
Yal Shulen Va. Look at her, she's typing as we're doing this thing. Outstanding. Okay, Yal
Whoops.
Shulenva, Yal for that which goes round. That's sun and moon in the most primordial. That's sun and moon, but yet it's the earth that's going around. It's the earth. Hey, Crystal, good to have you. Glad to see you're back on YouTube. Okay, they took you out of YouTube prison. Wonderful. Okay, and so Yal Shul. So Shul is the original word for school. So we know in the prime sense it means knowledge. That's why they blew the Shul far. The Shul far means the knowledge of fire or the knowledge from afar, and so the knowledge of blowing the ram's horn because they want everybody to know it's the new moon, or you got to come to a meeting, or dinner's ready. All of these things. So Shul means knowledge. Then knowledge what? En of the one knowledge. So the knowledge of the one that goes round, and also the Vat is the serpent, and there's your prime root you see on the Vatican. That's why they got it there, because it's about the serpent cult of the Vatican. It was a serpent cult in Mezar, falsely called Egypt. So it means the knowledge of the one serpent that goes round. That's the way you could say it. What one serpent? Creation is the serpent, ladies and gentlemen. In other words, the word servant, okay, Servant is
Desert.
SCR.
Just have a look at the graphic. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, you got it. That's right. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we just put the no, you don't put a SH. Yalvulan Vashe. Well, that is the most primitive. Actually, you've heard me say that before.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the She means the overshadowing. It implies the overshadowing of the all-seeing eye. The AY is the eye, right? And so the serpent, as you saw me put there, this is the servant. Okay, so what is the servant? Creation is the servant for the great spirit, and everything spins, and everything is the serpent in the great mystery of the metaphor. Okay, that's why he said he would, Moeshan, Moses in the wilderness had put a serpent on the cross. Go around the camp, everybody that had the sting of death. We all have the sting of death when we come into this world. That's why we have to become the second born. And he says that anybody that could see the serpent could live. Okay. And by the way, I want to know that our audios are balanced, not just that we're coming through loud and clear, but make sure our audio with myself and Ninja is balanced, please, because we don't have people turning up the mic and turning it down. Sometimes that's been happening lately. So just please help us with that. And okay, so the serpent, then but the original word for serpent, okay, uh, is then Asharphann apostrophe T. The T is silent. And there it is, the Asharphan. The Asharphan. But the A is the primary, just like we said with Shalom, it's A Shalom. And so the same with the serpent, it's correctly the A Sharphan, because everything came out from the light. The serpent comes out. That's why the Pharaoh is wearing the serpent on his headdress and sitting on the sun throne. They know that the serpent in the most primary sense is the sun, and it's the Ouroboros going around every day eating its tail, the serpent eating its tail, right? Because the earth is spinning, they got to light the lantern because the land is turning. They light the lanterns, and but the illusion, and this is the world of illusion, is that the sun is going around when it is the earth that is spinning. Thank you, Lynn, for that. Okay, so yeah, it's just an amazing thing. So thank you. Good questions. I hope I answered the question there. I think that was Aaron. Okay, and so if I get
Do
lost,
you,
forgive me. I'm not
yeah,
looking at the.
it's amazing, Desert. I love it when you get on a roll. I love
It's
it.
a serpent roll, egg
Yeah,
roll, serpent roll, right?
yes,
Same thing.
yeah,
All right.
all spinning. Um,
All right.
yeah, continuing, going back to divide. Um, you were talking about the sound, and I'll just scroll up the chat. Um,
Right.
yeah, wow.
Well, that's the
I'm,
objective, is to divide everything, right? Everything was
yeah,
divided when creation came out, and
yeah,
so it's not hard for them to divide because you don't know if it's right hand, left hand, the inside, the outside. You're an insider, outsider. You're hot, you're cold, or you're male, you're female, and boy, those are two different animals right there, right? If there ain't a problem between male and female, give me a break, okay? Because we're literally at war with each other throughout history, and that's because we really are two different animals. We're opposites, and so the only way that we can come together in the true narrative is when we are made whole and one in the spiritual body of Yeshua, because he makes peace, and therefore we all want the same thing. What happens with ego? I want this, you want that, right? But when we're in Yeshua, we both want the same thing. Hey, that's great. That brings peace, when you both want the same thing. And so, but we're at struggle because the serpent is saying, "Feed me, feed me. I want to. Let's go have a party. Let's go to the amusement park. Let's do this. Let's do that. Oh, wait a minute. I got to follow my serpent around everywhere he wants to take me. Your ego following that serpent everywhere you go. So we got to. That's why it says the serpent will be biting at our heels. And woman, unfortunately, gets the bad rap, for representing the serpent creation. But actually, man is right in the fall with her. He's got nothing over her. We're in it together, and so this is what we have to do to, overcome. We have to overcome by finding that peace, and that was a good word to start with today. And there we're back at it, and
thank you. Can I continue though?
or you okay? Absolutely.
um,
Your your program. I'm just hanging on for the ride here.
um, okay. Yeah. I
We're having
lost.
fun though, right? We're having
Yes, we
fun.
are.
That's my one rule. We just have to have fun here, okay? With all this
Yes.
bad stuff going on in our world.
Yes. Um,
Yeah.
I
And,
lost
and
my thought, but I should have written it down. So that's my fault.
that's
But
right.
yeah,
Well,
we were we were
well,
talking
real
about.
quick, I just want we've been go ahead. No, we'll do I'll do this later. Go ahead.
Okay, this is the end. This is the end of what I have. So, um, we were
Okay.
talking about sound. Back when we were talking about peace and chaos and the atom and Adam, and on the end of divide is the letter E. And I wrote down here before the program, um, the E changes the sound of all the false vowels in the
Uh-huh.
words. It changes the sound. It changes, like, for example, an E on the end of divide makes the I sound like I. Without the E there, this is a bad
Hmm.
example, but without the E there, the I is like I, as in itch or something. And same with A. The
Hmm.
E changes the sound of the A. It makes the A sound like A,
Right,
and
right.
without
Well,
the
that
E, it's like
yeah, mhm.
as in at.
Yeah, right. Nothing
It's
makes
just an
sense. Bottom
observation.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing was saying. And Jackie's saying we make a good comedy team, I think, over there. Ninja, say that.
That's good to
So
know.
maybe we can get paid for this down the road. It could be great.
Yeah, we like to
Well,
entertain.
we know we're getting a
Yeah.
higher payment, but we're having fun also.
Yes.
And yeah, and so
Yeah, so it's
so
all links up with the sound
yeah,
thing. Yeah, and
yeah,
control and with words and letters and symbols and logos.
right.
Yeah.
Well, the problem we have is that the great lies, they prevail. The lie, in other words, you whisper in somebody's ear, by the way, you know about that guy over there, and like typically, I think it's always, we find it in the thing about being gay, you say, oh, that guy over there, he's gay, and
Yeah.
then every time you talk to him, you never
Yeah.
forget that, he's always thinking, okay, because they put it in your head when they can
Yeah.
plant that seed in your brain, it's how do you get it out, you know, and, so and I don't want to know anybody's sexual preference anyway, so why you bothering me with that nonsense,
Yeah.
but that said, they put it in your face, because they got to re-engineer our world and make it seem like all of a sudden, sexual preference is the most important thing on the planet
Yeah.
when it's nobody's business, and I don't want to know about it. But anyway, so a lie will race around the world while the truth is slowly putting on its shoes. I love that quote because that's the bottom line. When you know the truth, when you know that in other words, the only one I have to prove something to is myself.
Yeah.
I can't prove anything to you. I can't prove anything. I mean, I might have a good shot at being able to get you to see what I can see. But the truth is we have to see things for
For
ourselves. So
ourselves.
experience,
Yep.
like when you've gone through an experience of something, boy, right?
Yes.
Like you've gone through a bad relationship or you've gone through the political fire, persecution of government, then
Yeah.
okay, but we can read something in a book and think we know something, but it's not the same as hard knocks and
Yeah.
experience,
Yeah.
and so
Life, being on this
yeah,
planet
right,
is the
yeah.
education, not being in
So
school.
so
Yeah.
I'm excited about, everybody being able to see what I can see because I know what I'm looking at, and it's been a lifetime of study and it all goes into the letters, the symbols, and then these words come out and it's a science, so it's an exact science. Science means exact knowing. It's not theory. Theory is not science. Theory means, well, I think so. It sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah, pretty good. Well, I hope they buy into it. No, theory is not science. Science is exact knowing, and therefore you can know that you know that you know. Okay, so just like, okay, let's talk about a science here on this graphic, the GH, because if you'll note, to show how when they wanted to create what they call the free state called America, it was literally a shell game, and the code was right on the Declaration of Independence. First note that the Declaration of the nation on the Declaration of Independence is called States of America. States of America. It's not called the United States of America. The name of the first nation was States of America. But wait a minute. Look at that letter A in America. Don't look right. Looks like a code. And there it is a code. And as you know, it's being pointed out right up at the higher up at the top there that it is the code for GH, which is the code for return. And that's why you got a GH at the very middle of your keyboard. At least in America, we do. GH is in the middle, and because it is a code and it means return. And then the Jews who corrupted the original scriptures and gave us the Masoretic text that played the great game on Christianity. Like the Jewish banking would really want to give the Khazars would really want to give Christians a true translation, right? Give me a break. They gave us a code, a code that has been corrupted, a translation that has been corrupted, played games with, sliced and diced, altered on the sacred altar. Reversals are made. Singular becomes plural, plural becomes singular, male becomes female, female becomes male, future becomes present, present becomes future. They did all of that in our scriptures. Then we got people hugging that Bible saying, this is the authorized version, man. Don't mess with it. It's already been messed with. Get the picture. There is no legitimate translation. That's where we have to open up. We have to wake up because we are in a world of deception. The entire world has been deceived. And if the entire world has been deceived, what does that mean? That's everybody. So maybe that's why it says that many seek to enter in, but only few are going to be saved. Okay? Because it's a miracle to wake up. And that's what we're attempting to do here by seeing things we've not seen before, hearing things that we've not seen before. Just like, this one in front of me, Anglo-Saxon, there's the word angel. Okay. And so as we can see, and let me do that first word, A-N-G-L. I got to put the cursor. I got to curse now. I got to put my cursor in the deal. They want me cursing all the way to their occultic rituals. A-N-G-L-O then means literally.
Desert, I just have to quickly let the cat in. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're not allowed to do that, though. I'm sorry. It's broadcast now.
We
Go
are
ahead. I'll
the
take
real
over.
public radio.
I got the keyboard here, so keep on ticking, Desert. All right, one below.
I'll be right back.
She'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. We hope. Okay. We're gonna have to fire those cats. All right, one glow. That's A-N-G-E-L. Okay, so there you go. One glow. Anglo is one glow. There's the word angel, but then therefore it represents light. If it's one glow, okay, it's L-I-G-G-H-T. It's light. Okay, there's your. So you see. So what was the original word that they took out for angel, right? Because that's what's the bottom line is A-N-G-E-L becomes then M-A-L-A-C-H. Actually, be K-H, but Malek, or also seen as M-E-L-E-C-H. But Melek is a lower messenger. Malik is a royal messenger, or a messenger of light. In other words, okay. And a king is supposed to represent that. Melek then is like the followers, so to speak. But angel then was used to replace Malek. And Malek, you can see Malek. Okay, there it is. M-A-L-E-C-H. Okay, there's two words. Mother, the mother tongue. Lek for lecture. Lek for election. Okay, well, that's what the most important thing you do. You think when you go to an election, right? They got you electing somebody that you didn't want because they're all liars anyway. But they took the most important word and put it on what you do every 4 years here in America to elect somebody. Okay, so lecture. And also we got eclectic readers. Remember, eclectic was a word that was originally used for the first school books in America, the eclectic readers. So you can see the word is telling you something, so they take it away. And then they give us the word angel, and literally it's Anglo-Saxon. And so Saxon, as you can see in there, the word sex, sax, socks, okay, is creation. Okay, so literally, Anglo-Saxon then means one light creation. Okay, one light of creation. So who are the Anglo-Saxon? Aren't they not the Aryans, the Germanic, the Anglo-Saxon were the Germanic tribes, blonde hair, blue-eyed, white skin. And I got Ninja Skyping me. What's going on here, Ninja? She's back. Oh, okay. You could have just said back.
I didn't want to interrupt.
Thank you. Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, I'm looking at the chat. Use the chat over there. That works better.
Okay.
All right. And yeah. Okay. So that's what I started doing. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And you're a little low now. Your voice is a little low.
Sorry. I'll move the microphone.
All right. Yeah, we got to be on the same level.
Okay.
Here.
Testing.
All right. So,
testing.
1, 2, 3. Testing. All right. So okay, there you go. So you've heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that the Anglo are claiming to be one light, but they're the Luciferian mother sons of darkness, which is what Masonic means. Ma Shon Ek, ik for darkness, ik for ink, black ink. Ma Shon Ik, mother sons of darkness, and so Anglo-Saxon then So the literally the the Jews put themselves in our scriptures. There is no word Jew in our scriptures. Period. Okay. They'd like to take it so far back they make the Pharaoh a Jew and Moses a Jew. But there was no word until 1,000 years ago.
Desert, I
Thousand
have a
years ago.
question.
Go ahead.
Um, uh, D and J sound the same in the word Jew. Jew sounds like Jew, and it made me think of directed energy weapons, which are
Yeah.
all about the
Right. Well,
controllers.
that's yeah. Well, that's the Babylonian confusion again
Yeah,
because the G would be the GH, and there's your go. See what I was talking about with America? The GH is a code, and so that's how the game is played. Okay,
yeah,
let's look at the word. Let's just look at the word for a minute.
okay.
Okay, JEW. Well, guess what? There is no J. Let me bump it in there. Hang on. Okay, there is no J. There is no W, okay, in the original diction. These are codes, and the E is a supplement for the A, and that's why we get Adam uh, and Eve. You see, because the E represents the lower creation, where the A represents the light. There's Adam and Eve, A and E, right? Adam and Eve. Where'd you go, Ninja?
Thank you. Sorry, I was concentrating
All right.
and doing
And so
that.
Adam and Eve is A and E.
There you go.
And
You
so,
see
and
it?
there's the combined. See, that's from the Latin. The Latin is telling us that the woman comes out of the side of the man. The man is the A, the alpha, and out comes the woman, and the three lines, like it sounds like a three. E sounds like three because it's talking about the three ages of the Aryan race: the age before the flood, then the age after the flood, and then after, and that's why Ararat, you see Ararat, um, literally has two, the power symbol, which I'm going to type it out here. The second great age. See, so that's why there's RR at. Okay. Oh, I should have said of creation. Okay, of creation. The second great age of creation. Ararat is and I wish I would have got that together, but that's okay. Is R for power. And so when you see it, like remember Mississippi, it had ISIS, creation, creation, right? MISSISSIPPI. And I said because it's got the dual PHPH, ISIS, right? I said what it means is the second creation of the ISIS mother. You see, second creation. So here with RR at, it means literally the second great age of creation. Okay. After the flood, Noah is Nova, meaning a new star, meaning what? A new creation. Nova, not Noah, Nova. And so this is how the code is read, and how you can then begin to see things in a way that you have not seen them before. Okay, and that's all we're trying to do is to open up your psyche, your conscience, because ours we've been put under the hypnosis state, and they call it the alpha state, but I think it's the beta state actually. When they baited you, you were baited. See, but they wanted us didn't want to know that, so they call it the alpha state. But alpha is supposed to imply dominant, but we've all been enslaved. So see, even that don't work. Just like
Wow.
we talked about the four elements, right? And literally only one or two maybe, and definitely three and four of the elements they give us are false,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Like
and we will
fire.
do. Yeah,
I was just watching that when I was clipping the watches.
yeah,
It came to my head
yeah.
that you spoke about fire. Do you want to
I
reveal
want
what
to break.
fire is?
No, I want to break now.
Oh, okay.
I'm feeling it. I've just been on a roll. I've been, this the word thing is really,
Um,
is that's why we do it at the beginning of every
yeah.
program, because
I have
that
another
way
word though.
they can, all
Um,
right, that way everybody can follow. So you want to do it when you come back?
it relates to alpha and beta.
All
Um,
right, let's pick it up on the other side. Just take note of the graphic that GH is a code, and every 50th word in Genesis, which shows that it's a manipulation. See, some people would see it and say, "Oh, this is God. Oh, the hand of God. Oh, but no, maybe it's the hand of man. Did you ever consider that maybe these things you're seeing are the hand of man, like aliens or Aryans, and the preachers wouldn't lie to you, but they are Jesuits and Masons, and the politicians are Jesuits and Masons. The whole cabal. They're everywhere. They're everywhere, and they got us to think about think it's devils and demons and some woman who goes around bumping the night and it's people. It's people that are running the show, ladies and gentlemen. That is the demonic. That is the demotic. Okay, people. And so realize that if you want to know the truth, you have to find all the lies, because once you can see all the lies and you can brush them off the table, you've got nothing left but the truth, and that's what we are attempting to present here, ladies and gentlemen. And so glad you tuned in. I'm Desert Owl with NinjaCat 111 every Monday and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time approximate, right, Ninja? And
Yes.
and I'm passing it back to you now. I'm going to kick back and enjoy the ride for a moment, all right? And it's great
Okay.
to be here
Okay.
talking
Me
about
too.
the stuff of life,
Yes.
what they didn't want you to know that we what?
We tell right here. We do. Yeah. Nobody else does. Yeah. And Desert's gone. Okay. All right. We'll be back after the break, guys. Please stay with us. Yeah, it's amazing. Like, I've heard things already that I haven't heard before, or that I probably only heard once, and it didn't sink in the first time. So yeah, welcome to the best deprogramming program on the planet, and we'll be right back. Okay, one sec. Okay, I think I said that. Okay, welcome back to the Forbidden History Chronicles. I think I unmuted a bit too early. I've got to get the hang of it. And there's music still playing. Okay, welcome back to the Forbidden History Chronicles. You're here with NinjaCat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series YouTube channel, and also Forbidden History Live. If you have not subscribed, all the links are in the description below all these live streams. Okay, if you would like to donate, we welcome any size donation, because this is not funded at all. We do it because we love it. We just have to do it. Any size donation will contact information is also in the descriptions below. We'll get you copies of Desert's PDFs so you can see and read for yourself. We have the Real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary, which is an amazing piece of work. It will help. It will help you see the code, see through what they've done with the words, with the échevells, and also there's one on the Book of Wisdom, which is a great read, and it's just amazing. It has really good advice in there, and it's all. I see it all as it's all logic and common sense, and just it's all about loving people, treating them with got no words, treating them with respect. It's a beautiful read, and also a sample of the original gospel, with a more up-to-date version of the dictionary at the back of it. And if you don't have any money to donate, we will get these to you anyway. It's that important. Wait a minute. Desert, your microphone's not on. Okay, you're back. Okay. We request that you how did you say it, Desert? Request one PDF at a time.
Whatever you prefer. In other words, we have a package of things available. We one document at a time, and if you don't have the funny money, we'll still get it to you. Okay, but that's how we ask you to do that. Okay, a lot of work went into this, and we give it away. But we also hope that you'll consider a small help if you can. If not, that's fine. We're not going to embarrass anybody or deny anybody. At the same time, we receive from the Father above, and so our job is to give.
Thank you, Desert. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Okay.
And are we good? Was that it?
And we are a caller-generated program. So if you have a question or you just want to call in and give us an update or say g'day, you're welcome to anytime. And Desert's phone number is in the chat. Thank you, Linjanier. So you can call him on.
If you're going to call in during the program, then text me that you're about to make a call, because I need to see that know that somebody's calling in. I don't just answer the phone on the broadcast, because it could be a private call, or it also could be the funny guys that like to call, and then
that
also
has happened.
All the time. And so text prepares us to take your call. You can say this is Bob in Idaho or whatever, and we'll take your call that way. Okay, so we're grassroots, of course. We're grassroots over here, and we're trying to do a major production with all limited resources here. So Ninja, real quick, wanted to ask you a question because we've been dealing with this Barbie issue for the last
Yeah,
uh, 2 weeks, but actually for a year we've been dealing with the Barbie
yeah,
issue, and then finally, we nailed it to the wall.
yeah. I
The
still have a
serpent to
word,
the.
just so you know. Just, but yeah,
All right.
please continue. Yeah,
Well, my question to you is because this is relevant. We talk about spirituality here, and we talk about the ins and outs of everything that we go through. We're all being persecuted in one way or another, and so my favorite quote, is living is easy with eyes closed, and that's my quote, and um, and so you know, is it true that this Barbie one day called, prayed with you on, over the phone, and literally used profanity while she's praying for you?
this was during a directed energy attack. Um, yeah,
That you were
yeah,
going through. You were
yeah,
going through. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You're a victim of targeting,
Yeah.
and so she makes you an offer.
I I called her because I was really, they were really hitting me hard, and at the time we were talking a fair bit over the phone, and yeah, I called her, and she could hear how badly, like it was. You remember last year I was getting a lot of attacks in my head, like they were pushing frequencies into my head. Um, yeah, so I called her, not knowing what else to do, because I don't think I'd even told you yet that I was a targeted individual, Desert. I think it was that early. Yeah, and yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's how she prayed.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Oh, using
yeah,
profanity.
yeah. Even
So
without the profanity, praying to get uh, try and stop these attacks
okay. Well, the point is this.
was
That
like aggressive, and angry.
yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Well, the point is that who in their right mind doesn't get that, number one, your profanity is not a part of Christianity. Number two, if you're going to pray to the Father of Light, you don't use F words and BS words and all the other words that go along with it.
yeah,
I mean, you see, so that's just my point is this.
yep,
Beyond living is easy with eyes closed. Her eyes are open because she knows that she's just scamming, um, pretending to be this religious individual while at the same time using profanity, praying for somebody, and it's the most disgusting thing. I never heard of that in my entire life, and this is the piece of garbage that we're having to deal with, that has actually attacked Ninja on the sides behind the scenes to destroy her work. While she on the front end pretended to be a friend, and she did it with me as well. Then because we don't want to associate with that type of thing, then then we become the best enemy, arch enemy number one of her, and therefore subject to her attacks. And so, what was interesting is I've hardly listened to any of her stuff. I maybe once, saw when I was doing, hanging out with a lot of Skywatcher friends, saw her do that once, just real quick. I didn't stay because she makes me sick when I hear her talk. And but then I in this ordeal, went and looked at her backup channel for a moment, and I saw her teaching scriptures with the scriptures open on the hood of her car, and she says there saying that Cain and Abel were twins, and they were born at the same time, which is an absolute fallacy. It's a lie. And while she's trying to interpret words next to it as well, she knows nothing about words. So she's put, just like her filthy mouth in praying, she's putting on this act and hope people are so stupid that they wouldn't get it. That because she's stupid, she knows everybody else is stupid. She figures who'll ever figure it out. But so just to clarify, her deceptions that are across the board. Abel and Cain were not twins. They had twin sisters each. Cain was born first with his twin sister. Then a few years later, Abel is born with his twin sister, and we find that in the lost books of the Bible, in the forgotten books of Eden.
yeah.
Okay,
I
and
remember
that's
that.
why.
I remember
collecting the
hearing.
lost books
Yep.
and reading.
Yep.
Reading is important, because then you won't be fooled by the scammers and
Yep.
the pretenders following the Zionist Babylonian Talmud. They're here to play games with us and to deceive all of you. And but when you know stuff, nobody can fool you. You can see them coming. That's why I wanted nothing to do with her at any time and didn't hang out with her. And therefore, once since that's the famous classic quote of George Bush Jr. If you're not with us, you're against us. And so therefore, I was now prime target for her. And so she'd been plagiarizing me on one end, and then trying to pretend to be a wordsmith on the other end, and to just the people who don't know. It's easy to fool people who don't know if they're not deep thinkers or a deep student of literature, and let alone our ancient past and our scriptures. If they're just reading their King James version and that's all they read, they'll never get it because they're reading an occultic book. you know you have to know that you're being lied to, and then at that point it will open up to you, and you can still read the KJV, or you can still read, anything is possibly good for inspiration and enlightenment. But what we do then, we have to pierce the veil. And I've been
Yep.
transliterating scriptures while I read them for over 40 years. I read it while I'm reading it. I transliterate. I bring back what I was unfolding for me, which is the original thought. Okay, the original thought. And so and we don't use profanity, just to clarify, on our chat at all. We don't use profanity at any time, okay, because we respect the sacred nature of our universe. And people, you have to use profanity, just show that they're very limited in their capacity, okay. And so we have to consider, that maybe little ones are listening in, and or reading the chat, and we have to consider all things that we are want to live on a higher level here. But that is the most disgusting thing I'd ever heard of in my entire life. That this Barb Aranda is praying for people using filthy mouth. And that's indicative of what we've had to deal with this creature, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
obvious. It's all through
yeah,
the comments on over on her channel as well. So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I understand she just had a run-in with Rose Biss on her network, and had to block her filthy mouth as well over there. So I'm not surprised that it was other people. I felt like it was just us and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
who are being targeted, but we find out that she's doing it to a lot of
Yeah.
people, and
People are waking up. Yep.
that's why we're getting out this information, and we're now having to post a warning on our programs because she's out there, and people have a right to know about the scammer, the Zionist shill, that will be happy to play games with them and take them down if she can. Okay, so don't let her do it, and spread the word, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah. Mhm.
Thank you, Desert. Thank
And
you.
thank you, Shelley, for that wonderful quote. Go ahead, Ninja.
Yes, thank you, Shelley. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I love you all for being here. Wow. Okay. We'll move on to. we'll,
Yeah, I've got to read. I got I got symbols and I got
I have
stuff.
the
So
word that I want to do. The one
okay,
last word. Yeah.
okay, all right.
Um.
How much money you got? No, never mind. Go ahead.
Sorry.
That's an old joke. It's going to wear out real quick if I don't stop. Sorry.
That's what makes me laugh, because you say the same thing in different ways all the time.
It's sort of like an Abbott and Costello routine in a way.
It
That's
gets
what
funnier each
Jackie
time.
was alluding to. She says we're entertaining. I loved
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. It's good to know. Yeah,
All
that we
right.
entertain.
Just
So,
in case we need a regular job, maybe. Right?
yeah.
Okay. Who's on first, right? That's me.
Okay, hang on.
What's
Just
on
let me
second?
get rid of
That's
this
Vincent.
graphic. I'll put something nice on while we're laughing. There we go. That's better. Um, okay. We were talking about the alpha and beta, the alpha state and the beta state. Um, and you reminded me of something that I was thinking about the other day. When I was talking about the mantra in that song, uh, and how the mantra itself is used to lull people into a different state of consciousness. Um, yeah, it brought me back to that, thinking of the word lull, and then I thought of the word lullaby. Um, and a lullaby does the same thing. When you're singing a lullaby to a baby, the intention there is to lull the baby to sleep.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's the word lol. Lol is a form of that word, and we see it in the word lollipop. But it also was what they called the first true disciples of John of Wycliffe in 1382. The ones that went out, the copies they made, handwritten versions of the Bible. Then they went out into the countryside, and they were called lollards. So lol
wow,
is lol. It's the same word basically. What you're pointing out.
wow.
La. Yeah, for
Well,
like, and also we might find in the word lobbing. You're lobbing something out, right? So this is a, one direction of the way the diction goes, and we then we lose a lot of these terms. They become archaic, But that's what it is.
thank you.
You're welcome.
No worries.
Not
Wow.
worried.
I know. You haven't said that response in ages. I've been trying to get you to say that, Desert.
Well,
Thank
you
you.
can't help it because you always say no worries.
I
So,
know,
all
but
right, Ninja, where
you
where are we
you
going?
resist. You resist
All right,
saying it. Yeah.
I'm a
Um.
resistor. That's right.
Okay. Well, back to you, Desert.
All
I think I'm
right.
all done for now.
Okay.
I'm sure
All
I'll
right. Great.
find
Well,
more. Yeah.
yeah,
As we go. Yep.
yeah.
So, you got anything? You got.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna read. I'm gonna
Okay.
read. And so, just got a note on the phone for cryptocurrency or something like that, but don't have time for that anymore. We really, when they pull the plug, all that cryptocurrency is gonna be worthless. That's the
Yeah.
funniest thing about it.
That's gonna
You know,
disappear.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's gonna be, the most valuable commodities will be toilet paper and coffee probably, and if you got a lot of that on hand, you might be able to trade for food. But okay, so we're in the dictionary of all scriptures and myths, and it's a big book, and this guy did it without a computer before the computer age. I don't know how he could have done that. Um, and Marve, is that how you say it? Marve, welcome to the broadcast. I don't remember if you've been here before. Hope you're enjoying the program. And laving is washing, right? Lave. Well, that's interesting because there's the word lava as well, and we talk about the well, that's where the word love also comes from, lava, love, and so okay, interesting. Thank you for that tidbit. Okay, so we're in the T section on Dictionary of All Scriptures and Myths, and I just want to see where QRSTU is because where we're next on that. There's not a uh, okay, symbol of conqueror. All right, this is fine. So we're gonna just read real quick a short about Taurus and the zodiacal signs. So, the thing is, one of really good question, Ninja, is how did how did the notion that the zodiac goes around for 26,000 years? Where did that? How did they know that? Right? Isn't that a good question? Are you there?
Desert. Sorry, I was on mute. Um.
Okay. Yeah.
Um. Wow. You know how we're gonna have to do this on another Chronicles because I'm not prepared. But there's other things relating. How I was looking into uh how the Milky Way was formed and what people
Yeah.
believed way back
Right.
then.
Well,
And yeah,
well.
sorry.
So if we remember that atom was taken up to the atom,
Yep.
which is falsely called Eden, which is the throne of the sun. And while Yeshua made all things on earth over the millions of years that it took
Yep.
to bring forth creation, in the cycles that we see have clearly come and gone,
Yep.
the processions, then we realized that, well, he had quite an opportunity to watch all those stars go around in the Gaelic Sea. Galaxy is Gaelic Sea, and it
That's
means the
cool.
old, yeah, the golden eye of the ocean. The Gaelic Sea is the gold, means the golden eye of the ocean. One aspect of it, and but we can see the Gaelic, meaning the tongue of the sun. The gay is the original. They got the word gay, but got a bad rap, obviously, and that's why, because they want, as they cover all the light, they turn what is pure into a corruption, right? And so anyway, so that's why it was known, and therefore these pictures in the star constellations as well then are telling a story about the life. And just like when we talked about how the letter A is being the first letter of the alphabet, then is also being um, the one that has been taken off of the front of a lot of the words, because they didn't they that it would obviously be at the front of many words because of the nature of it being the first. That's why Orion is pointing his bow and arrow at the letter A. He's saying this is where it starts. Okay, and so that's how we have to read and so this is so who put the stars up in the sky? Obviously the one who made all things. And that's the first tip off that, hey, there is a higher consciousness, right? There is an author to this universe, because he's created pictures in the sky, and it tells the story. When Orion, which is also synonymous with Aryan, is pointing his bow and arrow at the letter A, he's saying this is where you start, on the letter A, which is also a pyramid. And they called it a bull because they want you to think it was a bull, but it was really a pyramid. It is a pyramid. You could see the 3 points of the pyramid that Orion is pointing at, but when they gave it graphically, either on rock or stone or paper, however they, or in the sand, then they always made it out like it was a bull, because the objective is to hide the original meaning of things, right? So that's how the code
Yeah.
game works, So they didn't. That's why they flipped over the alphabet. They flipped it over and they reversed it. And as you know, in the dictionary, when I did the word for Adam, then I flipped it over and reversed it. You saw it looked like an A, D, M, right? It looked like it was, but
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, it didn't when it was upside down. It was hard to distinguish, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how the game is played, and so we have to read symbols. That's why we also talk about symbolism here, okay? And so Taurus, the zodiacal sign, is symbol, and Taurus that's the bull, and they want everybody to follow the Torah, which actually came out of Babylon after the exile and the return. So it's not first, just like Pharisee and Sadducee also did not exist until they came back from Babylon. That's why they switched out the sacred name Yahweh and turned it into Adonai, because they said the sacred name's too sacred for anybody to say it, so we'll put in a phony name, Adonai, which is India backwards, and it's also the pagan god of the Phoenicians, Adonai, demanding blood. So can people put two and two together? So Taurus, the zodiacal sign, a symbol of the second period of the cycle of life, it signals the divine outgoing activity in the creation of forms. The bull of the West represents the matrix of forms on the Buddhic plane, or the productive energy of Buddha. It pertains to the period of involution where spirit is descending into matter and giving it the potencies of form and qualities afterwards to be evolved in natural phenomena and in the souls of humanity. Okay, and so we could talk about that serpent again when where's that card? Okay, that the servant is the serpent, and the servant is creation. It is serving the spirit. Okay, it is serving the spirit. And so creation, it's like an automobile. We're going along for the ride, but we are not the serpent. We are not the body. Just we have a body, but we are spirit within. And just like you go into a house and you don't say, I'm the house. No, you're not the house. You're in the house. Your spirit is in the house. So, but yeah, people, when they get an automobile, they think they are the automobile, right, Ninja? I mean, that's how they identify, right? They
Yes.
identify with the outer, the illusion, rather than the inner, the true state of being, and which is a state of surrendering to the light. Okay, so this title given to Merodach, the sun god, and I believe that would have been maybe in Babylon. I'm not sure at the moment, but we're reading, in here what Gaskell does is he takes quotes from different traditions and just puts them all together, and so we get it from variable traditions to see how they saw something or how they talked about something. So this title given to Merodach, the sun god, and and see that sun god is a misnomer as well, because the ancients knew that the sun was a house. Remember, I just talked about the body, and the same with the sun. It's a house. It's a temple. It's a sanctuary. It's the house of the Great Spirit. It's the logo, also known as the logo. So sun god is a misimpression because it's the Elohimic sun. It's the Elohim, Ulav Haim, and so it is the creation, which is the feminine creation, Ulav Haim. Okay, mispronounced as Elohim. The title given to Merodach as the sun Elohim when he passed through the 12 zodiacal signs was the Gudhebir, the bull of light. The bull of light sounds like it's probably referring to the sun here. Hence, it was that the ecliptic was termed the yoke of the sun. The yoke, it says yoke of heaven, but that's a code. It's the yoke of the sun. You see, there's a code word right there. We know that the yolk, the yellow in an egg, is representing the sun. Microcosm, macrocosm, something on earth representing something above. Okay, and bound the yoke of heaven or the yoke of the sun, bound as it were upon the neck of the solar bull. Okay, so the solar bull, therefore, in this instance, the bull also represents the sun. That's why they called it the Torah, right? Not the Toro, the bull, the bull, and because it has a powerful force. It does have a powerful force. Okay, and so that, but also the bull in the duality represents the force of the earth, the lower creation. Okay, so that's important to note because one symbol represents several things, and we have to then associate it based on the pretext that we're dealing with. Okay, the first of the zodiacal signs, the opener of the primitive Arcadian year was called the bull who guides the year. That would be the sun. Once the days get longer, that starts the new year. The lunar started at the 1st of March. We have a dual calendar. Okay, so the Akkadian year was called the bull who guides the year. And the two prominent stars received the names of Bull of Anu and the Bull of Rimmon. And that's probably talking about sun and moon. They're the two bulls, one of the night, one of the day. They're both plowing. They're plowing through the sky. Okay, and that's religious of antiquities of Babylon. It was Babylon. Okay, the higher self, Merodach, as the matrix or bull, so the matrix is also called a bull, of all forms and qualities, passes through the 12 stages of the cycle of life. Okay, and according to the Chaldeans, Aries is a male zodiacal sign, but Taurus, female. Well, that's why she represents creation. There you go. And that's from Hippolytus, Refutation 5:8. Okay, and so when we pick it up again, we'll be in U will come next. We go through the alphabet each time we read the definition. And Ninja, I got to do one thing real quick. So just take over, okay? I got to turn off that air. Give me a second.
Okay. Okay, I would like to welcome any new listeners. You're listening to the Forbidden History Chronicles with NinjaCat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series YouTube channel and Forbidden History Live. They're both amazing channels. Links are in the description below every one of these live streams, so please subscribe. The Forbidden History series is Desert's archived channel. He can no longer access, but it's amazing. It helps you to comprehend what is being spoken about here a lot easier. Go back to June 21st last year, 2018, and listen from there. It's amazing. It's just every live stream is amazing. So yeah, go there and be a sponge, soak it up. Desert, are you back?
I'm front and forward, Ninja.
Okay.
Right here. Thank you for covering for me.
No worries.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go into symbols now. That'll be our next one.
Okay.
Okay, and what great graphics you do, Ninja. Thank you so much. That's a beautiful classic graphic you pulled together for the broadcast. A Chavor's words. My original quote when I had my radio network was, "Words are the DNA of life." Then we ultimately learned about the original word for word is a Chavor, because the D, as we see, is that we talked about the death, the symbol of death. So it's the prime root of word. Just to since we're talking about symbols, so I'll do that, and you got that there. So let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, so word, WORD, is a corruption because there's no W and there's no D, and so it literally is VOR. And then from there we finally made all the connections with ASHAVOR as they abbreviate the words. um, they and what was word but SWORD, right? Word is sword.
Yeah.
And you see, so what is the sword? Well, it was also called in the Greek the LOGO. The S is a corruption, but we'll add it. And there's the logos. So the S is the serpent and the symbol for the sun. And so this flaming sword is the sun. And we'll put two N's on there because they're originally the duality came down when creation came down. The duality came down, so that's why man is correctly also spelled with two N's in the German. And so the M is two N's. There are two N's is one M. So it's about division. The virgin light came down, and then it divided, and then you get the two N's. And so this is how the code is read in the original, so that people wouldn't forget. The code was so that we wouldn't forget, but because man has now been manipulated by the Aryan priesthood, then so they rearrange everything so we don't get these pictures. In the beginning, man was not even allowed to read. He wasn't allowed that privilege. So fortunately, the great Father of Light is a revealer. He's the tree of knowledge, and through him, we can know things. We can actually know about all things if we put our hands to the plow and keep on moving forward. Because all things open up. This universe was meant to be deciphered and interpreted. That's the way it's designed, by symbol. Okay, so here we're going to talk about oak as a first symbol. We're in the next alphabet in the Dictionary of Symbols by Sirlot out of the Philosophical Library, originally done in Spanish. And so oak, a tree sacred to Jupiter. That's Jove, also known as Jehovah, and then somehow ended up in the Hebrew tradition. Wonder how that happened. And Sibyl, okay, Jupiter, sacred to Jupiter and Sibyl, standing for strength and long life. Hercules' club, according to legend, was made of oak. That'll really hurt you when you get hit. Its consecration to Jupiter may derive from the ancient belief that the oak tree attracts the lightning more than any other. That's the first I remember hearing that. The oak had this symbolic and allegorical meaning throughout the Aryan cultures of Russia, Germany, Greece, and Scandinavia. Like all trees, it represents a world axis. So everything goes around the oak. Well, there we could see in there the O obviously is a power letter, and the O means O becomes then what? True. Okay. Perfect. Complete. Okay. And I spelled true wrong. Forgive me. Okay, true. TRUE. And so then the AK, the next letter, so the OA right out the gate, those are the two power vowels, the OA and then the KH. So oak would be spelled more like this if the K, if the arrangement is correct. I'd have to look it up in the Germanic, of course, but OKH would be more spelt that way. Yeah, so that's just interesting.
Yeah.
Playing around with the words is part of the science. You
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
If you don't work with them, how do you learn them? You
Exactly.
work with them. Yeah, and
Exactly. How do you
you've
how
been
do you see
following it.
more? Yeah, it opens up
Right.
when you do that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and part of the thing, when we're having fun, we're joking around a bit, is also, you actually, when you're having fun, it's easier to learn things than when you're bored and
Yes.
you're being taught like in school. So
Yes. If you're
Hope that you're,
bored and you
you know,
don't and you're not enjoying
yeah.
yourself, you're not taking it in as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we're we're here having fun, and we're talking about the things that are most important at the same time. So but I do try to lighten up here, and Ninja's a real easy target for me to work on. So I appreciate her. I can have fun with her, right, Ninja? All right.
No, never does
No,
it.
no. Wait a minute. Come on. No, all right. I'm sorry.
I love it.
I,
Thank you. You're
all right.
appreciated.
Okay. Well, let's go
We'll
grab
have
the
to look at
oars.
the word appreciate one day too. I'm
All
sure
right.
you probably already have.
Yeah, well, that would be good.
Appreciate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
oars, let's grab the oars, or would you like to do something else? Or we have to go get the oar. We got to grab an oar to go get the oar, or else, or we're in trouble, right? So the oars, so it
Well,
seems to be everything. So ORs, there's that O again,
yeah.
OAR. So it literally means true, again, GRUE, as one aspect of the O, and then but it's the power, but it also means power. Uh, So the power of what is true, okay, because AR is like we see it in armament, argument, army, arbitrary. So the AR arm for your arms, that work, and so it's the true power. So literally, OR means the true power. So what happens with when you get in the boat, right? You put your hand to the oars. Well, that's the true power, isn't it? The oars are the true power of the ship, right? If you're rowing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but you're the real power behind the power.
Yes.
But that's why. So when they called it an or, the OR, um, I'm probably not touching on the real primitive aspect of it yet, but there. Okay, well there we see it. Then look, here you go, ZOAR. Okay, Zor. You see, and because what's about what's going around, right? It's
Yes.
about the
Zora.
sun
Yeah.
and the earth go around, the moon go around. The Zor is above. It's soaring. That's where we get the word
Yeah.
soar, SOAR.
And
You see, it's
Zore.
soaring. What soars? And Zorain, well, Zorain means the light that came down.
Yeah.
The Azor is the sun. Azor, A spelled TZOR, is the sun. Okay, and so so now we get it that when they're talking about the oars, they're talking about the power of going round. You see, the power of going round. And okay, so in ancient, so on regard to the oar, in ancient rites connected with the founding. Oh, and I just wanted to finish that thought. So when it says they're going to get the ore, the reason what is in the ground is called ore is really not the mineral. It's really what was used to go get it. It's called the ore because they used oars to go get it. You see
Yeah.
how one word
And
becomes
the
another word, just
oars.
like,
The oars steer the boats. Does it?
well, the rudder steers it, but the oars are the power. That's
Yeah.
the true
Yeah.
power,
Or
right?
a
And so,
canoe. The oars
so
steer a
just
canoe.
well, sure, that's
Yeah.
different though. That's not the tip what
Okay.
I'm referring
Sorry.
to. With guys on each side in a whole bottom of a boat. That's
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
referring to. The power,
Yeah.
okay, the true
Okay.
power. And but it's still the same in a canoe with one oar. That's still the true power, right? Unless we're floating free,
Yeah.
But so this I want to give you now how the word association isn't what we thought when we talk about what's in the ground. It's not ore. Ore is not in the ground. Ore is how you got there to get it and take it back. It was the ore. So that's why they called it ore, because it was used, ores were used. So that's the same with, remember we talked about Asia and then Asia minor, which is correctly
Yep.
Asia minor. And I said it's not, we thought it was, meant the little light, but it didn't. It meant the menorah, the royal eye of light. It means Asia minor, right? So minor means light. So we see there the word minor, right? So why do we call the little ones, little boys and girls, minors? Because they were the first one to go into the cave with the light. So the minor is not a child, and the minor is not someone who works in a tunnel, but the minor is the light, the menorah. The menorah is the light, you see, and they're looking for the ore at the same time. Again, you see, minor. There's the word ore again, but it is the light. The menorah is a light. The minor was the little one that could crawl into those deep crevices and find mineral wealth for the big guys, and that's where the word minor comes from. So it means light, menorah. and then it gets changed into another association, right? Just like, the word alpine, right? Alpine, we think of Switzerland, right? The beautiful, right? Beautiful Switzerland, alpine, but really it's not alpine, it's alpine, right? That's why they call it it's the alpine. That's what grows up there in the high altitudes, right? The evergreen, the alpine. And so this is where they changed the word a little bit, and then we don't ever get the picture, okay? And until you tune in here, of course.
Of
So,
course. Yeah.
uh, so dealing with the word or in ancient rites connected with the founding of temples, the king would make the round of the site in or in his hand. Would make the round of the site, okay, the round going around, and or in his hand. Virgil mentions this ceremony in connection with the rebuilding of Troy. It is a symbol of creative thought and the word, the source of all action. Okay, and there's the word action for power again. So obelisk. Um, so it is the word of action or. Okay, and the true power, in other words, again, the word in its true element by symbol is the O meaning true or perfect, and then AR for power. So it's the true power. So if they talked about, true power, they might mention the or, right? That's how it would be in the original thought. Okay, so obelisk, we got one more here. Obelisk is a symbol, and we know that's the Egyptian needle, the needle, which also is a symbol of creation, also the symbol of the male sexual organ, a symbol of the sun ray. But here's the prime symbol: the sun ray, by virtue of its shape, because, and we find it, of course, at the bottom of the letter, a capital letter Y, right? There's the obelisk coming out, the projection of light shooting out, what then becomes the light particle spinning, and then that's the philthot, which the best I can do is like that, but it's, that's the swastika, and it's the light that's going into the four directions on Earth. Okay, so a symbol of the sun ray by virtue of its shape. Because of its substance, it is bound up with the general symbolism of stone. Okay. It is further related to the myths of solar ascension and of light as the permeating spirit in consequence of its upright position and the pyramidal point in which it terminates. Okay. So that's obelisk. And so when we pick it up next time on the O's will be an object. And there's an abstract thought right there. So, okay. And want to welcome any new listeners to the broadcast. I know that if you're hearing this for the first time, it sounds like you're hearing it for the first time because we talk about a lot of things that is not being touched on. And so, okay, Ninja, we're going to digress for a moment and get into the Forbidden History of America. I want to pick that up again. I'm working my way. I'm almost done with the book. We're more than halfway through now, so we're working through. And hey, Jennifer, good to have you to the broadcast. Hope you're doing okay out there. Lady that has a channel worth checking out and supporting, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
And
Nothing new on
Jennifer. How's it going? Good to see you here. Yeah, please continue, Desert. Sorry, I just had to say good day.
That's all right. Okay. So, so in my book, okay, so this is the next topic. This was a long chapter, so we're breaking it out into segments, and it's we were in banking and talking about the IRS, the Jewish control front, the front police state of banking, the BATF, and all that.
Yeah.
So among the several states, in my book, that's the informer speaking now. In my book, which one? Let me try this again. In my book, which one are you? Which one are you? That's the question. I discussed the 16th Amendment and why it did not pertain to the people, only to states. That's right. They had to make you a corporation is what they did. Not many people saw that what I saw, even though it was spelled out clearly. The phrase among the several states appears in the amendment, which states the Congress shall have no power to lay and collect taxes on incomes. Income means corporate profits. So do you make corporate profits? I don't think you have income. So the power to lay and collect taxes on income from the several states without regard to any census or enumeration. Rather than to repeat those portions of my book, I quote from Ballantyne's Law Dictionary, a third edition, page 70, which, by the way, is the Cadillac of law dictionaries. So I didn't know that. Cadillac of law dictionaries. Better highlight that. I've been bypassing. I've been staying with the Black's Law,
Yeah.
and because that's the one that they're using. But apparently, Ballantyne, what the informer is implying, is revealing a lot of truth that they cover when you're reading Black's Law. Okay, so
And
rather,
did you just say Cadillac? The
he said
Cadillac?
it's the Cadillac of the law dictionary. So Ballantyne's, I've been hearing about it all these years. It's one dictionary I did not ever get a copy of, so I got that on my
Wow.
list now.
Yeah.
Among the several states, a phrase used to distinguish between commerce, which concerns more states than one, and commerce confined within one state and not affecting other states. Such distinction pertains to the power of Congress to regulate commerce, it having the power under the commercial clause only as to commerce between the states. 15th American Jurisprudence, second and subsection 3. Commerce in the District of Columbia. There's your two columns, Columbia, and the territories of the United States, although within the power of Congress to regulate by virtue of its authority over such areas, is not commerce among the several states. Does the first unquote? Does the first sentence make sense? Yes, it does. Since the 16th Amendment did not say among the people of the several states, you are neither the subject nor the object of the income tax. The states being the only member of the union, because you are not members, are subject to the income tax that derives from alcohol, tobacco, and firearm sales. Other sales of commerce, such as gasoline, oil, and the like, that the state make money from, its corporations, are the object of the income tax. So the states are subject to the income tax, not the people. Therefore, there is no need for a census or enumeration, and it doesn't have to be appointed because it is not a direct tax on people. It's on the state's income, and it doesn't matter from what source it comes. The state, my dear people, is to whom the 16th Amendment apply. How else can the head corporate body exist and still pay its debt to the king under treaty? All its compacting members, see pages 17, 18, and 36, must pay, just as the several divisions of General Motors, i.e. Chevy, Buick, Oldsmobile, etc., has to pay GM a portion of their take in commerce. All states that have an income tax have to ask permission from the Secretary of Treasury to begin an income tax. The only income taxing authority granted to the states by the Congress is found in Title IV, United States Code 111. There's 111, Ninja, et al. Sequential. It as the commercial states in union having an income tax are bound by the United States tax laws in compact. See the Multi-State Revenue Sharing Act and Title II, United States Code, Chapter 4, Section 60C-3A, Section and 60E and through LA, and Title V, United States Code, subsections 5517. Title V, United States Code, subsection 5517, authorizes only the de jure, that's the true law, de jure agreement with the states for the collection of income taxes from the United States employees or individuals as defined in Title V, United States Code 552A A2. And you're not an individual either, ladies and gentlemen. Any income tax laid on people's labor under the 16th Amendment would be found in the principles of the case of Bailey versus Alabama, 219 United States 219-55 L edition, 191-31 and so on. Quote, involuntary servitude and peonage. There's the word right there, peonage. That's contract slavery. You volunteered, ladies and gentlemen. That's when you became the slave, um, or when your mother informed on you, and and when she made the delivery. And delivery legally means handed over possession and control to another. That's when she made the delivery. She handed over the goods onto the dock, onto the dock from the ship, which was being berthed. Okay, since Title 15, United States Code, a subsection 17 says labor is not a commodity in commerce to be taxed. Labor, let's hear it again. Labor is not a commodity in commerce to be taxed. Provides the 16th Amendment only proves the 16th Amendment only apply to the states. Simple, right? And you call yourselves sovereigns. Actually, we know better now. From where all power comes from and are supposed to know and rule the government. Bah humbug, he says
Sorry.
here. Thank Mr. Qualisk for showing the definition of humbug. But wait, the principles Bailey expressed doesn't apply if you voluntarily did all the things that brought you under the state system. That's right, voluntary slavery, peonage. Remember, a few, and nobody else signs on the bottom line but you. Go figure. Unilateral contract. You agreed with yourself to do what you did. Remember a few chapters back, I said Congress shall change its definitions. Well, individual is defined in 5 United States Code 552A, A2, to be a United States citizen. What's that word mean? If you said you were not a U.S. citizen, but an individual, got you again, didn't they? Sure. Okay, because you're not a citizen if you know the meaning of that as well. Okay, so your individual master file. Okay, and then people were getting the master file, Ninja. When I worked at Eddie Kane's American Rights Litigators, people got their master file, and when they were being accused of not paying taxes, guess what the commodities were that they were trading in? Apparently, according to the code, they were trading in arms and alcohol and rum,
Wow.
and said they weren't paying their taxes. And that's what it said when they got the master file. Yeah, they were on the high seas, piracy, and gun running and dealing in liquor. I mean, isn't that a wake up, right? Showing how they applied something to us that has nothing to do with us. Nothing. It's a shell game. They just like had a board game, right? And everybody
Yeah.
agreed to be whatever the piece was on the game board. I'll be an automobile. You'll be a house, and somebody
Desert.
else will be what?
Sorry.
Sorry.
um, I just saw something on a bigger scale. The trading with the guns and the liquor and all that. That's what they do. That's what they do. That's like what the deceivers do. They trade with the guns and liquor, and it's all over the place. And I
Yeah.
don't know
Well,
how to
one
explain it because it's getting late. But yeah.
Yeah, but one way to control
Yes.
society, you see,
Yes.
is to control the alcohol and the guns. If we were truly
Yes.
free, nobody would be able to tell us whether we could buy a gun,
Yep.
drink alcohol. In other words, I mean, they call the declaration, the Bill of Rights, right? That's our foundation for everything we're able to do, right? But then, okay, if that's correct, then how come what was it the 18th or 19th Amendment took away our right to drink alcohol? How could that be? If the Bill of Rights was supposed to give us, the right, and
Contradicting.
you and,
Yeah.
and you can't give, and you can't give me anything that I don't already have.
Yeah.
And as soon as I think you can give me something, then you can take it away from me,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Get it?
Yeah.
So the way they did it, it's called positive law. So one day in a certain community or state, they said, well, we're going to make a law. Everybody's got to carry a gun, right? Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Everybody should carry a gun. Let's all be safe. And then all of a sudden, so if they can make a law that makes you carry a gun and you give them that permission, then later on they can come back and say, well, we're going to make a law to take away your right to carry a gun. You
Yeah.
see,
And that's what
positive
they
law.
did. Yeah.
It's negative law. It's not positive law. It's negative.
Yeah.
Positive law means written, legislated, enacted
Yeah.
law,
They
not
do that.
natural law,
Yeah.
not common.
I
Mhm.
see that. I can't give an example right now, but just I'm starting to see that like it's everything's a repetitive pattern. It's all the same game with everything. Like That yeah. I'm just seeing it. I'm just seeing it with lots of things. They do that with everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, studying the government is studying the piracy. Basically,
Yeah.
that's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
It's a piracy, and we're dealing with psychopathic criminals. The pirates were just flying for, as a front, like for England or for Portugal or for Spain, or for France. And so the pirates, were like the front guys. And so they create these legends about them, right? But we never make the connection that they're actually working for the governments. They just flew another flag so that nobody would figure out that behind the scenes they're pulling the trick, just like the cop on the side of the road, and he's a Freemason, and so look at the words, okay, the a siren, right? They got the siren on the car, and well, okay, so where does that word come from? Oh, Greek mythology. The sirens were the ones who were singing their song on the side of the
Yes.
shore, and then you heard the sound, and it was so
Yes.
hypnotizing
Yes.
that it pulled you over onto the rocks, and you were ruined.
Yes.
You see, so that's what the siren does. It pulls you over onto the side of the road, then they ruin you. They
Yep.
take everything you got and
Yep.
put you in a Wall Street prison,
They lure you in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what do they do to you when they're pulling you over with all those lights flashing? The guy's got a gun on his hip, and you were hoping just to go buy groceries, and now all of a sudden you're under what's called the chilling effect. The chilling effect means because of all this sensational stuff going on, you're like, oh, what I do, officer?
Yeah.
I just going to buy groceries. Now all of a sudden, now he's now what the chilling effect in the piracy would be, they throw you off the ship into the water, and they say you're not coming out of that water till you sign right here. And so what's going
Wow.
to happen? You sign for the ticket, Bubba, or you're going to jail, right? So you better sign for that ticket. The good news is you could do that, and you're not, incriminating yourself, nor binding yourself legally to anything if you know the truth, because you could put it right back in the mail to them and not accept their offer, and it's called non called neutral response. You're not going to argue it. You're just sending it back to them. Must be a mistake. Let them figure it out. But that's how you do. Not you do. You know. Oh, geez, it's been so long since I've done these other programs. Yeah, but yeah, neutral response. You don't argue anything. You don't say that's not me. You don't say nothing. You just put it back in the mail and send it to them, because they're making you an offer. In commerce, not in law. There is no law. That's why they could do what they do to you. If you hadn't hurt anybody, how could they pull you over? Right? Think about it. Right?
Yeah.
How could they pull
Yeah.
you over if you hurt nobody? If you minded your own business,
Exactly.
went down your merry way. You see, that's because it's a racket. And so you see, so nothing is as it seems. It's a piracy, and they make it legitimate. They make it look legitimate. hmm So, all right, Ninja, let's do one more break, and then we'll come back and we'll do the Old Testament light, New Testament light. And if there's any questions, post them on the board. Just put my name in all caps and upper and lower case on your comment or question. Okay. Well, glad everybody's here today, and I want to welcome any new listeners out there as well. We always have new people coming and going through our broadcast, so we hope that we're shedding a little light on the darkness that they've engulfed us with. I have a book I did a rough draft on, never published it, never will probably, but we get into it every now and then, called Piracy of Words. And that's what it comes down to. It's a piracy, ladies and gentlemen. They've enslaved us all in the mind. They've enslaved us physically. They've drew lines in the sand. They say you got to stay here. Then you go over here, you're in another state. It's all an illusion. It's the ganun. It's the garden. It's the lower garden though, and but somebody took over. They made a racket out of it and took over because business was good. It's good when you're the controlling faction. So anyway, so we're gonna go take a break. Ninja, back to you.
Okay. How long do you want? Desert.
Yeah, and I want to respond to Marve. That's right. They have a quota, so they'll give you a ticket, even when your tail light or you weren't going too fast or something like that as well. It's all a racket, and a lot of cops feel bad about it. They hate it. They don't want to be revenue agents. They want to be protectors
Yeah.
of society, and that's why a lot of them got in it. But then they found out it was another game that they were playing. So Ninja, just 5 minutes at least, okay? At least 5 minute break,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Thank you.
All good. Um, all right, we'll be back after the break, guys. Please stay with us. Um, you won't hear this anywhere else. And yeah, I'm running out of Aishavors, so we'll be back after the break. Love you all. Okay, welcome back to the Forbidden History Chronicles, the best deprogramming program on the planet, um, alongside Forbidden History Live, where Desert is currently broadcasting from. You're here with NinjaCat 111 and Desert-Owl. How's it going, Desert? Welcome back.
Making lemonade out of lemons. I love lemonade. It's easier to drink than lemon straight, and that's a little rough. But yeah, so
Yeah.
we trying to make sense out of a bad world, and hope that the knowledge that we accede to will give us the ability to transcend.
Yeah.
That's what it really comes down to. It's not our world. We're not a part of this world. It's an illusion that we're a part of this world. We are spirit. We are eternal beings, and we have another place of origin that is part of the great mystery, and it's in the light. It's the craziest thing to think that we originate out from the fire of the sun, but remember, it's just a symbol as well that is beyond the sun. The light that brought forth creation is greater than that light. There's a light that is even greater in the great mystery, and want to welcome any new listeners that are out there. And let's see, got Aaron saying thank you again for taking my question earlier. You're welcome, Aaron. I appreciate your communicating and sharing or asking questions. That's we're here to try to do that. You have another one here. I've been checking out the War Scrolls recently. Can you touch on the subject for a minute? The Dead Sea Scrolls. Thank you. Yeah. Well, I read all the Dead Sea Scrolls last century in the first part of my study decades. And I learned some things, of course, reading the Dead Sea Scrolls, that it was being controlled, the Jesuit control, Vatican control, Jewish Zionist control, all the controllers working together, all one secret brotherhood. And so that's why after 40 years, literally 40 years or more, not even half of the Dead Sea Scrolls were translated, nor were they making the original copy available in print. Then eventually the pressure became great, and then the copy of the original texts were surfacing and coming out, because we ended up finding out that these priests and these Jesuits, they were just good alcoholics. That was about what they were best at, staying drunk all the time, and not and sitting on it, sitting on this, because there's truth to be revealed through these ancient writings, and so the reason that who are called the Essenes, which may actually be a cover for the original term, which may just be the Nazare. That may be the word. It's one of those things where they've covered the trails really good for us, and they control all the narratives. But the Essene, and by the way, that was the first place Yeshua went to after his 40 days of fasting, if we read the original gospel, or what's misnomered as the Aquarian gospel, because they were prepared. They call themselves well, they used terminology like gee, I'm trying to remember now. The like the way when we use sky gods or sun gods, the children of light, those type of terminologies, and they were waiting for the Messiah, the Mashiach. They were waiting for him, to come, and so they have a lot of different books that were in their writings, and some were synoptic with our received scriptures to a point. Of course, since they're controlling the translations, I haven't seen the original. I haven't had a chance to compare enough. But what they've had to do is to destroy any value in this culture, when in fact they wanted nothing to do with Jerusalem, because Jerusalem was under control of the Babylonian Talmud and the priesthoods. And so that's why they went and lived in caves, and they were waiting for the seed of the sun to come and to deliver, them from the oppression of this world. And so they were good to go. They were the most prepared of all the followers of Yeshua. They've been preparing for years, living out in caves, and had purification rites, 7 years of initiation into the Essene brotherhood. They were basically vegetarian. They were healers, all these things. So the war document, in particular, Aaron, I read it, but I don't remember enough about that anymore. You know, a lot of the things I've read a few times, but then you move on, and but I can tell you I've got the Dead Sea Scroll Bible, okay, which is a collection of all the relative scriptures that came from the Essenes and out of Qumran, and were actually we have in our script. In other words, whether it's Genesis, the 5 books, what we call 5 books of Moses, or the other prophets, or so all of those writings that were discovered, that were in our received texts, our received scriptures, then they were published in a book called the Dead Sea Scroll Bible. And it's interesting, you can find their conspiracy garbage right in there, that reveals, it tips their hand, big time. And the one is the big one really is one of the prophets, whichever one it's in, one of the minor prophets, I believe. And it says in our scriptures, and you, O Bethlehem, um, of Utah, you are not the least of all the cities. And I'm probably going to do a bad paraphrase, but you'll get it. And you're not the least among the all the cities of Judah, and yet out of you will come forth the Moshiach, the Messiah. This is what it was saying, right? And so, what does it say in the Dead Sea Scroll copy? Per these Jews, right? It says, "And out of you, Bethlehem of Utah, will not come the Moshiach." You see, so they changed it. They added a word, or however they played the trick, but they said no, he will not come out of Bethlehem. You see, so there's your Babylonian Talmud is controlling our narratives and our scriptures. So the game is continual like that, and so that's the problem we have, ladies and gentlemen. We've got criminals controlling the candy store and the banks and everything else, and so we have to be able to read between the lines, and we have to be very proficient as scholars to not buy into the lies. There's so many of them, that's the problem. And it's a work, okay? Like and I got a few more words before we do the reading, Ninja. Aztec, we talked about Aztec on the last, I guess, on the Friday program, and I may have been Raymond that put it up. I can't remember,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he
possibly.
saw when we
Yeah.
were talking about the attic, and then he saw
Yes, yeah,
Aztec, right? So
yeah.
Aztec is okay. Let me type it in there. Okay, AZ TEC, and I hope that helped a little bit. Aaron, yeah, it's hard to talk. One thing they did do, though, let me just add this, is they've these Jews who are controlling the narrative, Khazars, more correctly, Khazarians, they have made it look, they've made it appear that as if the Essenes were in competition with Yeshua, as if they were adverse to each other, when the fact is that they were the most devoted and most superior followers of them all. What we find in the 12, what we call the 12 apostles, or the story, that their story, it was about the common people, how the common people could come in and become a seed of light. So these scriptures that we have today, are 27 books, don't center around the Essenes. They center around the common communities around the Mediterranean. The Essenes were just good to go. They were already prepared. They were already waiting, while others, in the communities in Samaria, who the Jews hated. They weren't Jews, excuse me. They were Judeans, the Babylonian Judeans. Hated the Samaritans. That's worth noting, because that implies then that Israel no longer existed since the time they were actually banished in 730 BC. So we have to put all these pieces of the puzzle together, and we'll get the picture. But when we look at things, separately, we don't connect them. Then it's really hard to make all the connections, right? And so Jennifer, I see you got a question. Let me just do this Aztec real quick. And so we were doing the word attic, ATTIC, okay? And so Aztec, there we see, what does Aztec literally mean? You can see it right there. The alphabet, AZ, okay, AZ, then is the symbol, just like the AT, Ninja, right? Sometimes it's the T, sometimes it's the Z, right? But it all represents the end of the alphabet.
Yeah.
AZ therefore stands for Okay, and then let me get the other one. Then tech. Well, we know what tech means. Uh, okay, so creation technology. Aztec literally mean. And do you not think they had a little bit of technology going for them, Ninja, when they could write calendars that are superior to our calendar today, and they knew when the eclipses were going to occur within seconds, and they
Yeah,
built
and
pyramid structures that we can't even build,
yeah,
today practically. You know what I'm
cut
saying?
rocks with
Yeah.
technology beyond our
Yeah,
comprehension.
they were the
Yeah,
generations of priesthoods and watchers that came down later in time. They were the direct correlation relations of the Aryan watchers. However they blended, however they mixed with other culture, but nonetheless the technology they had
yeah.
goes back to the Vekaresh, goes back to Adam,
They
the
knew the
prime.
secrets.
Yeah,
Yes.
they knew that. That's right. So they were sent out like satellites, right, to create other civilizations in the Americas,
Yeah.
and so that's the pyramid civilizations. One world order, and so look at us right in our face, right? Aztec. It's like it doesn't take much imagination to see that. The AZ is our alphabet today, modern alphabet,
Yeah.
but it's but we know
Yes.
that the original alphabet would have been TZ, right? It would have been TZ like that. They go together, like in Sun Tzu, right? Sun Tzu and all that. Okay, so Jennifer, you have a question. Let's see what you got here. My main question is in life is how did Islam develop? Do we know? It teaches many great things. Okay, if you don't answer this today, okay. Well, I don't know. You say teaches many great things, but remember all the traditions teach a lot of great things but still are not legitimate, and so Islam, well, where do we get, let's ask the question, where do we get the story? Okay, the story about Islam comes from a Jesuit priest, Roman Catholic, who came out because he was in on the secret meetings that told about how Islam was created by the Vatican in 600 AD. Okay, 600 AD. And the reason they created Islam is because they wanted to destroy the original Eastern Christianity, which Christianity is a false term, but we'll use it. Um, and so they wanted to destroy the Eastern traditions, and so while at the same time kill any remnant of Sephardic Judaism, not Judaism, but Judaism, and to do a switch out, cultural change, just like the Canaanites were redhead spotted. Canaanites were the Phoenicians. So where are all the redheads today? It looks like they're on an island called Ireland, the land of irony. When they at one time proliferated all of Europe, all the way through Persia, all the way into India, and Buddha would have been a redhead spotted warfaring prince. Okay, that's why he's got that curly hair on his head, in those statues, even though he didn't tell anybody to make statues of him. Okay, so Islam was made to take down Islam. What does Islam mean, Ninja? I can't. It means control, or it means slavery. I can't remember. But the submission. Islam means. I did it in a dictionary one day.
Okay.
Submission. And so there you go. Submit. Or die. Okay, that sounds like a loving culture. Submit or die.
I
Have
remember
your head cut off.
submit. That's yeah. There's been a lot to take in. I remember you mentioning submit.
Yeah.
That rang a bell.
So
Yeah.
right. So did they? So the question is, did they do their job? And remember, priesthoods are insiders. All the followers are outsiders. So we're all on the outside, while the priesthoods are all interrelated, kissing each other, kissing each other's big toe, and
Yeah.
having a party in Hollywood. And well, I had a friend, and just to add to that, I had somebody who went to one of those insider parties in Hollywood, and he says, he was amazed. He was in the Air Force, by the way, this individual. So that's a mind control operation in itself. And he went to this party, and there you got the Imam of Islam, you got the Catholic priest, you got the Jesuit, you got the sheriff, you got the chief of police, you got all the heads, the mayor, all of these key people, and they're all there, snorting cocaine,
Yeah.
having sex with children in the bedrooms or women, whatever their preference was. It was all a big party, and then they go back to their normal role next, on Monday, and everybody just thinks they're legit, and it's the
Yeah.
greatest show on earth.
Yeah.
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 Want
They're
to jump in?
like um Two different people in one. They remind me of my sister. Yeah. There's the pretend. So it's like two different personalities, like a split personality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry,
All right.
I won't go
That's
into it
okay.
because I'm
Yeah.
not
Well,
speaking very well at the moment.
yeah. You're hanging in there, Ninja. So that's the main thing. So
Yeah,
just
I
hang
love
in
it.
there.
I love it. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I always have trouble remembering the Jesuits' name because I used to interview Bill Hughes, who wrote the book Secret Terrorist, and also Eric
Wow.
John Phelps, who both classically talk about the Jesuits, and then this guy, but this was the forerunner, and he got murdered. He went to a dentist. Okay, you got to be careful which dentist you go to because they very often they're part of the secret societies, and so he gets injected, but at the same time something else is injected inside his body, and he dies of cancer within a short period of time. And so anyway, this Jesuit came out, and he said that they explained how they created Islam to destroy Eastern Christianity. And so let's ask the question: did they do it? Well, everywhere you see Islam today, in Africa, in Arabia, in what we call the Middle East, okay, or Asia Minor, or India, or Pakistan, all and go right around to Turkey. All of these places used to be, um, for the most part, Christian. Okay, Christian, and today they're all Islam. So the switch out has occurred. What was a pure Christian world has now been decimated and is now
Wow.
under mind control, the worst mind control doctrine there ever was. And yeah, and we know what
Wow.
they do.
Yeah. That it's obvious when you look at it that way, and I didn't see that until you spoke of it just then.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, even the Taj Mahal in India, you see, those who live in India know the truth that the Taj Mahal belonged to Shiva,
Yeah.
and the ancient traditions out of India. But yet, when they had to create the new image, the new image for Islam, they then gave them the Taj Mahal as a cover story that some warfaring Islamic prince had. Had the Taj Mahal built, and so the style, as you see the style in the Taj Mahal, it became the style that was used then in all of Islamic architecture and buildings, temples, whatever they call them, and so that's where the style comes from, the Taj Mahal. But that originated in Indian culture, and they gave them then the alphabet to make them look superior than the numbers we use today, the 10 digits, the 0, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Yep.
which they call Arabic numerals, are not Arabic numerals. They come out of India, but they had to make them look like, they got to pump them up. In other words, you got to create an image for this next culture that's coming on the scene. And so that's how they did it. They gave them the architectural style. They made them look like they invented the alphabet that now the world uses, when it was really India. So there's a lot that goes on behind, in this the one world order. It's not a new world order. It's an old world order. It's a one world order, and most people could never figure it out. I attribute Yeshua to being my revealer, because it's I'm overwhelmed today at what I know, when I just wanted to know. I climbed a mountain one day, a ninja, and then all of a sudden the rest is forbidden history. And that's what we talk about right here. So Jennifer, I hoped I helped you. That very often you'll see the Islamic temple and the Catholic Church right next door to each other, and then underground, they have tunnels connecting, each other's temples, because it's a one world order. The priesthoods are fronts. That's all they are. They're just fronts. I mean, we know that with the Vatican, right? They're just a bunch of psychopathic pedophiles who are orchestrating the grand illusion. It's Babylon. It's the beast system. They're following the Molochian tradition, right? It's just it's the greatest show on earth, and we as people, because when we come to planet Earth, don't know anything, and accept everything we're told, and what we're told is not true, it's not correct, it's incomplete, and most likely it's all misleading. And how will you ever figure this psychopathic world out? So it is a miracle, and so I thank the Father above for being so gracious to me to share the light. The light that is shining. Light reveals. Light is a revealer. Okay, so let's wrap it up here. We're in the Old Testament Light by George Lamsa, and he touches on different words within the scriptures. So it's just more food for thought. We're hoping that we can help you on your journey back home, ladies and gentlemen, into the light. I know there's people that have demonized the sun, and they call themselves of the light, but they're yet mother sons of darkness, and they're culting the light from us. We have to see things independently. We have to learn how to read, and that's why we do a lot of reading here, and we talk about words. Hopefully we'll be getting on with the translation project soon. I've got some things to work out yet in a number of areas, and it's very frustrating, but we welcome your support, your creation of light for us, your prayers, and or donations if you want to, because they got all the money. We don't have any money. We do get it done on a song, a wing, and a prayer. Okay, and you are our prayer, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so thank you for that. And so in Genesis 3:11-12, we have the word ashamed, and so he said, "Who told you that you were naked, Adam? And hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded you?" And eaten means to found pleasure. And he was the tree, okay, whereof I commanded you that you should not eat. And the man said, "The woman whom you gave me to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat." And in the Septuagint, when it said that she gave to him and he ate, it said that she gave to him and he found pleasure. In the Septuagint, first translation to come out of the into the Greek in Alexandria, okay, 300 BC. So we have to know that these words mean something other. It's not literal. It's symbolic, and you have to know the meaning of the symbol.
Can I
So
just
in
say
Aram,
wow already?
you said it.
Yeah.
You did. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Please continue.
All right. In Aramaic, naked also means exposed, but also you put an S on it and you get snake. Drop the D and you get snake. You are a snake. I didn't know I was a snake until I got tempted. Okay, and then he was exposed. So the serpent had promised Adam and Eve, gave promise to Adam and Eve when they had eaten from the fruit, the tree, in the center of the garden, their eyes would be open, that they would become like the great Elohim, knowing sun and moon, knowing about the sun and moon, the nature of sun and moon, that which implies light and darkness, which then became abstract and corrupted as good and evil. Hitherto Adam and Keva had known nothing but the great Elohim. And the term evil had not occurred to them, which really means blindness. Okay, everything which the great Elohim had created around them was perfect, was Yatzar, was good. But now when they transgressed Elohim's commandments, they saw the counterpart of the light of the sun, and it was the moon, darkness, emptiness in the darkness, and therefore they were naked. And that is ashamed. The breaking of any divine mandate brings remorse and shame. Hitherto, sex was spiritual, meaning implied that it was supposed to be by permission and in a sacred aspect. But now physical desires were put above the spirit and the truth. And the Ashan, man, had listened to the serpent. That's the ego. That's the flesh, the desires of the flesh. That is the opposition to spirit. Okay, man was not yet spiritually mature enough to engender a child in his image and likeness. And in the first chapter, Ashan was told, "Go and multiply and fill the earth, but fill it with perfect Ashan, men and women." In other words, man was to reproduce a perfect and spiritual offspring like himself. But being disobedient to the Creator, he failed to reproduce his own image and likeness, and he brought forth blindness into the world, and the blindness resulted in death, and that's because he brought forth Cain. Raising Cain, that's what they say, right? Raising Cain. So next time we'll be on the serpent, and that's out of Old Testament light. And then we've got just one more, New Testament light. New Testament is a misnomer because it is about the everlasting covenant, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and so, but we'll call it New Testament Light, George Lamsa, so you can find the book if you want to get it. And so we're in, we did taxes. Now we're in Children's Angels. How much is that?
Wow.
Okay, and this is out of Matthew 10, 18:10. Take heed that you despise not one of these little ones, for I say unto you that in the throne of the Son, the royal messengers do always, in the house of the Son, it says heaven, but it's a code, house of the Son, the royal messengers do always behold the face of their Father, which is in the throne of the Son. Of course, we always see the Son of light. And Easterners, for many centuries, had followed and still do follow in guardian angels. Okay, but yet when we read out of Isaiah, Yeshua, the great Elohim, says, "There is none besides me, no, not one. There is no other spirit beside him." He says that, and so that's noteworthy because these ideas, and in other words, he don't need anybody to work for him. He can do it all. He maintains the universe. All power was given unto him, right? All power, and so he's the force of the sun. Okay, and so we are given false narratives, like we talked about the word angel earlier as being Anglo-Saxon. There's your word angel, Anglo-Saxons, and they took away the word Malik, and that's what the word Malik means, royal messenger. And we are the royal messengers, ladies and gentlemen. We are the royal messengers. Okay, and who warns him? So let me find my place again here. And so Yahweh's counsel, who warns him when he was inclined to fall into darkness. It is said that the guardian angel, quote unquote, sits on one on the right shoulder and the devil on the left shoulder. I've never seen them there. The term angel means God's counsel, but of course it is a corruption, and it's not the original. It's Malik. You see, what happened is, like I told you, they set up Islam to destroy the Eastern cultures. They set up the Roman Empire, and they went and destroyed all the original Aramaic writings, and they gave them Il Strangolo, which is a demotic, just like Arabic. Okay, so none of the writing is really Aramaic, and so even the Easterners fell victim to the corruption of the priesthoods. So it's not Lamsa's fault that he doesn't have all the narrative right either. We all fall into it, but at one point we wake up to the greater truth as we go along. So on the mountain of the temptation of Yeshua was ministered to by royal messengers. In the Old Covenant, we read that royal messengers of Yahweh appeared to Gideon, to Samson's parents, to Yahweh, but we're given the impression that it was a creature with wings on its back, and that's what we have to know. Jacob wasn't physically wrestling with anybody. He was wrestling within his own mind, you see? But they changed the story a little bit and made it look like he was wrestling in the dirt with somebody, and that's not the true narrative. And so that's why we got to recognize that our scriptures have been manipulated, and we have to see the stories more deeply and consider the alternatives to those stories that may be the more correct one. And the New Testament everlasting covenant tells us that they appeared to Mary, Boli Shafei, and to the apostles. But Gabriel means giver of light. And it was Gabriel who appeared to Mariam. And who was Gabriel? Well, what does Gabriel mean? Giver of light. Who is the giver of light? Ninja?
Giver of life?
Who gives light?
Gives
Who
light?
gives light?
Sorry, I thought you were saying giver of life.
Well, it's the same thing. It's just another variable. But
yeah.
Yeshua?
Yeah.
Right? Right. He is the light. He is the light. See? Okay, so he has different titles, just like Michael. Michael means the one who is like Yahweh. Well, who is the one who is like Yahweh? Yeshua.
Yeah.
You see? And so they convert these into what we call names when they were expressions. So we don't get to the picture, just like Jacob is the seed of light, Yaakov, seed of light, that goes round. Yah, that which goes round.
One thing I noticed, sorry to cut you off. One thing I noticed whenever I read in any of the stories, when they're traveling and they come to a new place and they name that place according to what they see and what they feel, and
Sure.
yeah, and it just makes sense.
Yeah.
That kind of goes
Well,
along with what you're saying about. I don't want to say names. What you're saying about the titles of
yeah.
everybody's title. Yeah,
That's right. It's a title is correct, and it's hard to get away from all these bad terminologies. We're like I say, we're speaking Pig Latin,
yeah,
occultic. It's hiding the light. Our occultic words are hiding the original, which gives light. The original gives light. The occultic gives no light, and that's the problem we have.
yeah,
Okay, so appeared to Miriam, Voleshafe, Joseph, and to the Malachim, falsely called apostles. Apostle is postal. It's a commercial term, means postal. Okay. Packages that are shipped away. Do you think they were packages that were shipped away? Okay. So Yahweh's counsel is always with those who seek to do his will and carry out his orders. In the East, children are not treated as tenderly as they are in America. When they draw near to the presence of a holy man or of a high government official, they are rebuked, chased away, and at times scolded or even beaten. Yeah, well, I think all the cultures are wrong, and there's only one true culture, and that's in the light of Yeshua.
yeah,
Yeshua loved the little ones and wanted them to have them seated close by him, listening to his Eshavors, his words, because the little ones are pure in mind. One must be like a child, which is another misnomer, child, innocent and harmless, in order to enter into the kingdom of God, which correctly would be the royal house of the Son of Yahweh. Moreover, most prominent Eastern men would have shunned children, but Yeshua took them in his arms as examples of the true seed of light. The true seed of light. Children represent the true seed of light. That's how we're supposed to be, innocent, and that. So we got to look at them because we lost something that they have, and that's the innocence. But it doesn't mean ignorance. It just means we put on become simple. We crush the ego because we're not trying to prove anything. We're just wanting to live right and to be pure, so that we can have a relationship with the one who made all things. And that is the forbidden history right here, ladies and gentlemen. Ninja, unless you have any final thoughts, we're good to wrap it up here. Okay, anybody out there with a comment or question? Now's the time to bring it on.
yeah, and we do take live callers.
Well, I've
Just
actually got to get a microphone for that phone. I've got to get one more thing on it before I can really take calls on Ninja. By the way,
okay,
so yeah, I'm working on that.
okay.
Okay, so are we good? We wrap
We're
it.
good. We're good.
How
Um,
good are we?
no worries, Desert. That's about all I
Supposed,
got right now. But
supposed to say real good, Ninja. We're real good.
real good. We're real good. I'm loving this
We're reeling it in.
deprogramming
We're reeling.
program.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. What they didn't want you to know.
that we tell right here.
Right.
We
So
do.
so
Yeah.
thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into the Forbidden History. Ninja, for your great support of this work, and everybody, thank you, Lynn, for your engineering, and all of you that stopped in today. All right, and just don't forget, if you want to know the future, I'm Dezert-Owl telling you, you need to look for the Forbidden History, because it's all right here, coming your way every Monday and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time with NinjaCat 111, the Forbidden History Chronicles. Thank you for your questions today, Aaron, as well, and anybody else that I missed out there. Okay, just do tell your friends and stop back. Ninja, back to you. I'm out of here. Peace and love, hon.
Okay. Peace and love to you too. Always. Always, Desert.
And I'm
Um.
muting out right now. Okay,
Okie
whether it delays,
dokie.
I can't handle it.
One last giggle to end the program with, while I scroll and look for some music, as per usual. Uh, okay, we'll go with this one. Okay, I just want to say g'day to Rock, and thank you all for listening. Thank you all for joining. Let there be Zoray. Always, and love you guys. Thank you, Lynn, for your moderating, for your yogeneering, your lingineering, um, and love you heaps. I hope you're doing okay. Um, And that was another deprogramming program. Um, Sorry, I just lost my music. Okay, be safe out there. Love you guys.